I've hit the record button. We're set.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Just kidding.
I thought something was wrong for me. We're recording. Everything's good. Everything's up. We're going to start the show with this little gem today for Stream the Machine, episode 53, May 23rd.
Moving on. Name the first Republican candidate to become President of the United States. The first Republican candidate.
Republican meaning the full name of...
the Republican
it was
meaning...
the Democratic Republican Party. That's what it was called. It was one party. Do you mean that?
I mean the Republican Party. As in the Republican Party.
As in the Republican Party?
Yes, sir. I need an answer from someone, please. Oh, you're going to get angry at yourself. First Republican in 1860 was Abraham Lincoln.
Democratic Republican.
You're listening to a Fly Science Productions podcast. Welcome to Stream the Machine. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Stream the Machine, episode 53. We're back. We took a week off last week. A week off.
That was my bad.
That's quite all right.
My bad.
Stuff happens last minute, and sometimes you just got to change things up. And so we had a little bit of a scheduling issue, which is generally no big deal. And I thought to myself, well, could run the show with Ross, but when I make the show notes, I sort of tailor them to, well, more often than not, Tony, because that's who I host the show with. But if I ever am to do the show with Ross, I usually make sure that I make, kind of tailor the notes towards him, and that's if I know ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And so, I had a choice to either kind of go with have Ross co-host, but with the notes that I would have had for Tony, or to try and rewrite it all together just to do a solo show and have Ross come on. And Ross wasn't even able to actually commit to an entire show last time, so I just thought, you know what, we'll take a week off. I don't want to, I'd rather take a week off and have people be kind of angry about it than have them wake up and be even more angry that we put on a terrible show. So, but we're here this week, so go ahead and pour your milk into your cereal. Get yourself, what do you drink with cereal? Anything? Milk?
Milk.
So, I'm saying...
Do you not eat cereal?
I don't, but...
It's like common knowledge.
Okay, so do you have the milk in the cereal and then a glass of milk? That's what I'm asking.
Sometimes.
So you wouldn't do like a glass of orange juice with a bowl of milk and then cereal?
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds gross to me, but...
Because, you kind of... As you're eating the cereal, you're kind of diluting the milk taste. It tastes more like the cereal. So you get down there, you got the fresh glass of milk to wash
I get that.
Out.
That makes sense.
I drank a lot of milk as a kid.
I had a really good clip I was going to play at the beginning of the show in lieu of that one, but I might actually save it for next week. I'm not even going to disclose what the clip was about, but it was a good one. It was a little bit longer, but then I came across that guy trying to say that the Republicans and the Democrats were the same party. It was an old game show. I don't know what game show, but it was old. And I wish I could show the video because the look on the kid's face when the host is trying to say, no, it's just the first Republican president. And he's like, oh yeah, the Republican Democratic president, you mean? And it's just, he's got such a great face on when he's saying it, but it's a good clip. It's Memorial Day weekend, right? Is that the day? Is that the thing that's coming up Monday?
That is Monday.
Okay,
Correct.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't like some other day that I wasn't...
Labor Day.
Yeah. So Memorial Day weekend, for some people, for a lot of people that don't work customer service and stuff like that, it's actually a 3-day weekend. So I am on that boat as well. First time in a long time that I will be able to just kind of sit and enjoy and take a Monday off and relax. So that is what I'll be doing. Rachel's gone for 2 weeks. She left. She packed her bags and she's
a little bummed that you didn't come with.
Yeah, I haven't been back to Illinois in 3 years now. It's actually, you know what? Probably like 2.5. It hasn't actually been 3 years because I left, I think, 2013 in February. So even then, it's not even been 2.5. It's just been 2 and then a couple of months. But I haven't been back in a while, and I want to be back, but just with work and money and everything else, doesn't always permit the time to go. Luckily, Rachel is still in school, and she gets stipends for, like the way her whole program thing works.
Research and stuff.
Yeah, so her leaving doesn't actually mean that she doesn't get paid, because either she's still getting paid or she wouldn't be getting paid in the first place because she's not at school. So it's her being able to go on summer break or something like that, which is what she's currently on, allows her to sort of still take those opportunities to do stuff like that and not lose money like I would. So yeah, it's only been a couple days since she's been gone. I've actually been trying to eat a lot less because I don't want to eat everything that I've got in the house. I want to try and ration it out for 2 weeks. So
that means you have to go grocery shopping.
If I can't make it all last 2 weeks, yes. That is the goal, though, is I'm doing my best. I eat a little bit. I actually ordered Jimmy John's yesterday, but that was only because I love
Jimmy John's.
I love Jimmy John's too, and I guess this is leading up into our next thing here. I hadn't really been eating Jimmy John's much because of my tooth, and it's very hard to eat a very big full sub sandwich and only eat it on one side of your mouth. And so, finally, what was it? Thursday, I finally had my root canal. They took the root out of there. They filled it up with some protective medicine crap until this next Friday. I actually have to go back in and get the crown fitted or whatever, molded, whatever their terminology is. But currently, I can now eat on that tooth. So I was like, I'm going to celebrate with a big old Jimmy John's sandwich. And so that's what I did. Was I ordered Jimmy John's and had that. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about the root canal here, okay? And I told a story about my last root canal and how bad it was and everything else like this. This story goes a little bit better, okay? I'm going to say it went a lot of bit better because I didn't, okay. I didn't have, it wasn't like nightmarish like the first time went, but, so this time they gave me anxiety medication, right? They were like, here, take this the morning of, the night before, and leave one left over. That way, if you get into the office and you're still feeling it, we'll go ahead and we'll give you the last pill there. That should calm you out. And they were like, do you want to also have the nitrous? And I was like, sure, yeah. Give me all you got because I want to make sure that I am chilled by the time that you guys start drilling on my teeth. So I get there, and I've already taken the anxiety meds for the morning. I have that one left over, and still kind of feeling it. And they asked me, like, are you feeling it? Are you still feeling anxious? I'm like, well, it's helping because I'm obviously not like shaking or jumping out of my chair. So I know it's working, but I'm still kind of anxious. And so they were like, all right, well, here, go ahead, put this under your tongue, take it. We're going to go ahead and get started. Well, they get started, and they shoot me up a couple times with Novocaine. They give me the nitrous, so it's a little mask. Goes over your face, and you just sit there, and you just look up at the TV. And I asked them when I went in, I was like, hey, I know your sign here says no phones. Can I please bring my phone back so I can listen to music? And they were like, oh, of course. So I was listening to the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo soundtrack the entire time, which is great for just chilling out, right? Because it's like super mellow music, super dark, just super like... And so it's going. I can't really tell if the gas is doing much because it's in such a small dose. Like it never actually knocked me out or made me loopy like people said it would. Never did, because they never put me fully under. They just kind of loosened me up, I guess. So I could never tell if it really was doing its job, but I was just kind of sitting there chilling. At one point, she drills, and I feel pain. And so there's really no good way for me to say, oh, hey, that hurt, because they have everything in my mouth, and my mouth is pried open. And so all I do is, like, make a noise, right? And so she's like, oh, okay. Gets Novocaine, shoots me up a little bit more, continues going. About another 5-10 minutes goes by. I feel pain again. Okay? And she's like, all right. Gets a Novocaine, shoots me up a couple more times. About another 10 minutes go by, pain again. And this time she's like, all right, well, I'm gonna do this thing. It's called a hot root, I think is what she called it. I haven't Googled it yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure she called it a hot root. She really was calling it audible. That's great. That's what I should have said. But she was like, you're going to feel a lot of pain, and then it's all going to go away. And so I was like, all right, and I couldn't say anything. So, whatever she did, she grabbed some tool, and I kind of was closing my eyes at that point and really cranking up the thing. I was coherent enough the whole time that I could turn my volume down and then turn it up. So if I heard her talking, I could turn my volume down and listen. And then if I heard the drill talking, I would turn that up so I didn't have to hear it. And so whatever she did, just as soon as she started it, excruciating pain for like the next 5 seconds. Just like gripping my chair. I was like, had my legs like crossed and kind of relaxed, and all of a sudden they're like down, like pressing against the floor as hard as I can, just like, and she's like, all right, almost done, and you're good. And no pain from there on out. And she goes, and I still don't know exactly what it was, but she goes, man, it's a wonder how much heat can stop the pain. So I don't know if she took just like this, like a little torch or like a really hot wire or something, but she did something to that root involving heat, and I guess just flamed it until all the nerves died. And so, like I said, I think she called it a hot root or something like that, and that was it. So I didn't really feel much after that as far as pain goes. It kind of went like so, and I was a little shaky after that because I mean that was intense. But she patched me up, and I got going, and that was about it. They kept saying, like, you got a driver, right? And my buddy, shout out to my friend Koo, who took me, took the morning off work, because originally Rachel was supposed to take me, but Rachel ended up being out of town. So my buddy took the morning off and drove me there, and they kept telling me, like, you got a driver, right? You got a driver, and you got to make sure you got a driver, because you can't drive. And I came out of there more coherent than after like drinking 3 beers. Like, I don't understand what the whole, and I don't know if it's just because I have a resistance to that kind of stuff, because obviously the Novocaine wasn't working, the anxiety meds were kind of, not doing that hot, and couldn't even tell if the gas was working because I really didn't feel it. I just feel like it was all a lot of talk for nothing. But I was pretty chilled throughout the whole thing. I was a little nervous at moments, but it's done and it's over. The rest now they have to do is just put caps on stuff, and
nice.
That's about it. So it was a fairly pleasant. Well, I'm not even going to say that. It was a fairly pleasant thing experience compared to the last experience, but overall, still, I would never really want to go to the dentist. I'm going to try and keep this part short. I was going to go into detail and explain things here, but I'm afraid that I would end up talking for like hours. So
let's go into a little detail.
So I started The Witcher 3. On the last show, I don't remember if I said that I was playing the first 2.
Well, yeah, you said you were going to go through 1 and 2.
Okay, so I started the first one about the same time, same day actually, that the last show we had. Mm-hmm. And I played through the first. I played that Saturday and Sunday, and then neglected to play all week. Played other games, and it was a stupid choice. So then last weekend comes, and just last Tuesday is when the third game drops, right? So I'm like, oh crap! I have Saturday, Sunday, Monday to finish the first game, and then beat all of the second game. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to play the third one on time. So Saturday, Sunday, I absolutely crush out the first game, and I beat it.
Nice.
Then I realized, okay, there's no way I'm going to beat the second one on time. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just take all of this week, all of these last 5 days, play the second one, and then I should be able to start the third. Well, I did. So, and I'm going through this journey, and I'm loving every minute of it. And it's like you can import your characters just like with Mass Effect or Dragon Age.
Oh, nice.
So it just like gives you like pulls over your choices and stuff. So the choices you make in the first game can actually influence a few things from the second game, which can then also those choices influence some things from the third game. and probably not so forth, because I think this is the final in the trilogy. But so yesterday, about the afternoon, I finished the second game. And I'm like, sweet, awesome. That game is from 2011, so it's a little older. I mean, 4 years by now, but it was still very, very good.
It's practically a dinosaur.
Right, yeah, by today's gaming standards. And so I start up the third one, and within the first hour, 2 hours, it's like already... Now, I'm much farther than that now, but it was like already contending for like one of the most in-depth, one of the most beautiful-looking games I've ever played.
Really?
There's 2 games I knew that would probably crush it this year. 2 games. The Witcher 3 was going to be one of them, and I think Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to be the other.
Yeah.
Those were the 2 games that I thought, when they come out, would probably be getting perfect scores. Now, The Witcher isn't getting exactly perfect scores. It's getting a few, but it's getting a lot of like 9.5 out of 10s or something like that. And when you're at a 9.5, like how do you discern that, well, it doesn't really deserve that last 0.5, but I don't know, it's reviewing, it's off the charts.
It's gonna hate.
Yeah, hate. I guess.
Players are gonna play.
So, I'll tell you what, I'll go into just a small story here, and then we'll get going. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, no Ross Bass today. He's out of town, I think, so we're having a shortened show. So if our intro seems to go a little bit longer, it's because we won't be staying a song. But Tony's disappearing. So one of the things that gets me on loving this series, so it's about a witcher who's basically just a monster hunter. Think Van Helsing, think we've been talking about Supernatural recently. Think just a dude that hunts monsters. That's what he's trained to do. He opens a book, he goes, yes, ghouls, and freaking, that's not what he sounds like, but he sees these, he like...
Delicious.
Right. He reads about it, and he studies them, and then he's a trained monster hunter, right? And so, we've gone through this journey with him up to this point, and now we're at the third game, okay? Now, I got into a side quest, just a side quest. This is something that doesn't even have to be done to complete the story. It's completely optional. And the amount of depth in it was shocking to me. So, a guy tells you, hey, and I guess this is minor spoilers for a side quest, but whatever, it's a side quest. The guy says, hey, I've got a haunted well. I need you to go check it out, right? So, Geralt, who's our protagonist, is like, sure, I'm a witcher. That's what I do. So, he goes up, you go to the well, and there's no like, oh, there's the ghost, fight it, boom. And that's what you might have had to do in like one of the older games. But they've like evolved the process and tried to get you so involved with it now that you show up. First thing he says is, all right, I guess I got to start looking around for clues. So you start searching around on the ground. You've got like a Witcher like Sixth Sense button that you can hit, and it like helps you like it's basically like the detective mode for Batman. Yeah, it's exactly what that is. And so you start looking around and you start noticing like, looks like traces of sulfur over here, and look, there's blood over here. And so you're actually like, you're actually like trying to be a detective and like figure out what the heck is this thing that I'm looking for, right? So he starts looking around, and then as you're going through, he goes, well, okay, I think I have an idea of what I'm looking for. I need to look, it ends up being like this ghost that's tied to the area. And from his knowledge, he's like narrating the thing in his head. From his knowledge, he says, these ghosts are usually tied to the realm because something important was stolen from them. And until they get it back, that is why they sort of haunt these areas. So now you're looking around for the thing that might have gotten stolen, right? So you go into this one house and you find a journal, okay? And you're looking through the journal and you read through the journal. This is all like extra crap, right? This is not even part of the main story or anything. And you're reading through the journal and you find in one of the journal entries that this couple had been harassed by this guy who was like coming by and trying to get taxes from him. And one of her most prized possessions was the money that her husband had been able to, or the money that her husband spent to get her this wedding ring. So then Geralt decides, like obviously that was her prized possession. I wonder if it's still around here. And as you look around, you find that the girl had been like brutally murdered and stuff, and her ring was around there. And so then, after all of that, even then, right, you figure out, okay, well, we got to burn the body, just like Supernatural. You got to burn the body. We're gonna have to burn the ring with it, and that should summon the ghost, and then I have to defeat it. So I do that, and I start fighting the ghost, and it's killing me. It's absolutely destroying me, and I fight it like 10 times. I'm playing on a harder difficulty than normal mode, but and I'm just like, all right, well. I liked all that detective stuff, but what the heck? Now's the time to be a game, and I'm hitting it with my sword, and I'm fighting it, and nothing's happening, right? So I'm like, wow, that's so weird. Well, the key point about being a Witcher is you have a book that describes all the monsters, right? Like, you just open up the monsters, and everything you've read, he records in his little notebook. So I open up the notebook, and I'm like looking through, I'm reading it, and it's like, it tells you that these ghosts are immaterial beings. In order to bring them into the material realm, you have to cast this certain spell. So I'm like, oh, crap. So I cast the spell, comes up, all of a sudden I can start damaging it now. And so I ended up damaging the ghost and completing the quest, but I spent like maybe a total of an hour in that area doing like research and trying to figure everything out and reading up on the creature that I was supposed to be fighting and doing all this crap. And this was something that players could pass over completely if they wanted to. Yeah. Some people might not even ever find it because they didn't talk to that dude who said, please go save my well, it's haunted, I want to be able to get water from there, you know? And that's the end of my story. But that it's like incredible the amount of detail. There's so much more I could go on about, but it's awesome. It's incredible. It's absolutely amazing. It's blowing my mind.
What kind of specs do you think I could run that?
So I'm not sure. I would have to see what I asked you about your card this morning. I would have to see what that compares to for NVIDIA, because it's a Radeon card, right, or an AMD?
Yeah, it's an AMD.
Yeah, I'm not very well versed. Excuse me, with the AMD card, so I couldn't tell you what it's comparable to. But if you allow me, I'll look actually after the show. I'll check and see what it's comparable to, and I'll let you know if I think it's something that can be run. Because I can run it pretty well on my card, but I also have a pretty good card.
A pretty good card.
So this is probably our one of our biggest topics we'll have for the show. I'll briefly mention the first part, and then we'll talk about the second part. So I saw Ex Machina. I pronounce it Ex Machina, although I imagine it's probably pronounced Ex Machina, because
I've been in my head. I haven't really said the words, but I've been thinking of it as Ex Machina.
Well, the only reason I pronounce it that way is in Final Fantasy X, they have machines and they call them Machina, and it spells the exact same way. Now, if you pronounce it like according to like Deus Ex Machina, which is like it's a sort of like an event that can happen in like literary writing or plays or whatever. We won't even go down that path, but I'm pretty sure in that instance it's pronounced Deus Ex Machina, and so that's why I'm not exactly sure, but I pronounce it Ex Machina. Just a quick review. Amazing. Go see it. Everyone go see it. It's awesome. It's really good sci-fi, but then it also brings up really great questions about where we're moving with technology and, you know, will it get out of hand? And it's just, it's really incredible. I really recommend it to anybody. If you like philosophy, if you like sci-fi that's not like, you know, going to be straight up like Blade Runner and the future type stuff, but this is like still kind of based in that technology-based thriller. Very, very good. After Ex Machina, I saw Mad Max on that same night, which Tony, I think, only liked a little bit.
I mean, it was more like just like a little bit upset Max. It wasn't really, it was nothing crazy. It was just more like passive aggressive Max.
Right. No, saw Mad Max and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing Tony told me after he saw it was, oh my gosh, Mad Max. And I was like, right?
Yeah. It was so well done.
Very well done.
Entire thing.
They so I don't know how much we talked about it on the show, but they got the original director and writer back, George. Oh, I can't think of his name now. George Miller. It's George Miller.
Yeah.
So he did the original series back in late 70s, early 80s. So 79 was the first Mad Max. And then I'm not sure when Road Warrior came out or Thunderdome, but those would have had to have been after. So I'm guessing that they were in the early 80s, or at least the late 80s, mid to late. And he comes back and he makes this awesome post-apocalyptic sort of action movie with Tom Hardy as Mad Max and Charlize Theron as Imperator Furiosa. Incredible stuff. It really skirted... And I guess this is sort of the selling point, and what I keep telling people is it really skirts what people are to expect from, like, the quote-unquote movie tropes or the action tropes. Like, what you would expect an action movie to do, this movie does, like, 100%. Actually, the only thing it does that action movies do is get you pumped as hell while you're watching it. That is the only thing that it has in common with any other action movie ever. It otherwise, like, the story points, the character points, and a bunch of the other sort of like just the visuals and the kind of action that they get is just it's insane,
astonishing.
It's hard to
so good,
and it's going to be very difficult to describe much of it without spoiling it. So we'll just have to say go see it in theaters. But even after you see it, I found it's hard to talk to people about it just because it's so insane.
Yeah, you just have to see it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, film is obviously a visual format, and at times you can describe a scene by saying, well, the sun came over the horizon and it shines over the horse and the way the hair moves in the breeze, and you can't do that with Mad Max. It's like you start trying to describe the fact that there's a dude playing basically, Slipknot hanging off of
That was my favorite part.
I know, it's so cool, right?
And it's a legit guitar.
Yeah.
It actually worked and spat fire.
So for those who may have seen the previews, the way that these like post-apocalyptic just freaking meatheads get like pumped on these raids that they do is they have one truck devoted entirely to music. So they have dudes on the back all playing big tom drums, and then a guy on the front that's like hanging within like a chain harness with huge amps and speakers behind him, and he's playing guitar that shoots fire out of the neck. Does he fight anybody? Not until the very end. But for the most part, his job is just to pump dudes up. He is just there to go, you guys ready to roll? And just start playing the most metal riffs. And it's like...
And when the guy comes, like, when he gets into a tussle, it's only because he dropped his guitar.
Right.
That's his main goal. He just wants to get his guitar back. He doesn't care that someone's on his truck. He just wants to get that music going again.
So crazy. The world that they sort of built is... it's really...
A 2-hour film. It's impressive.
It's really impressive. Now, little Easter egg or fun fact or whatever. Immortan Joe, who's the main villain, is actually the main villain from the first Mad Max film.
Oh, nice.
Not the same character, same actor.
Same actor.
So I don't know if I mentioned that on the last show or not, but they basically they were like, I guess they liked him so much back then. They were like, hey, so your guy obviously bit the dust back in the first movie. Spoilers, it's been freaking 40 years, 50 years almost since we've had that. 40 years, I think. Or is it 30 years only? My math's terrible. Between 30 and 40. 30. Yeah, it's between 30 and 40.
It's between 30 and 40.
They said, hey, come back and be the bad guy for this movie. And so that's what he did. He comes back and, shreds some dudes up. And I'll tell you what's really neat.
Me.
That was a great scene. One of the most brilliant parts about it, I think, is that the action in it is so brutal, but there's very little blood. There's very little blood, I think, throughout most of the movie that I can remember. You'll see a lot of dudes get chucked under the wheel of a car, and then the camera cuts away. Like, you'll see the dude get munched up for like a second.
Well, I mean, because once you get underneath the wheel, all the dust is kicking up. They just disappear.
Right. And so there's very few parts where you'll actually see somebody, I'm not going to spoil it, but even at the end when crazy stuff happens and bad guys get their comeuppance, it's not very gory. Like, there's not a lot of gore throughout the entire film, and it's very sort of tasteful for as violent as the film is, or at least for as like implied violent that it is. they do a pretty good job of keeping the violence tame. You know, the worst part is, you know, like I said, the implications that, oh god, that guy just got ran over by a
reindeer, just like grandma.
But no, it's very good. So go see Mad Max. Let us know what you think. There's also a lot of really good dissections of what the film does, sort of philosophically and for female characters. Because as you'll notice, Charlize Theron's character is almost more of a main character than Mad Max was.
Yeah. Like Tom Hardy has like a total of 45 words.
Yeah, he doesn't talk a lot. And from what I've read, and I've only seen the first Mad Max film, from what I've read, that's pretty much on par with the other Mad Max films. He doesn't talk much.
I've seen the first one, but only like half of it. Because it started off super slow, and I think I was expecting Mad Max straight from the beginning of the first one. So I kind of dismissed it. But now I really want to go back.
Yeah, so I saw the first one, and I was surprised that was Mad Max because it does have a slow start. It's a very slow burn, and actually it doesn't feel like the character Mad Max gets started until the very end of the movie. So it makes it's almost like the first movie is just like all character build up, and then the second and the third movies are probably going to be the ones where he's kicking more trash. But yeah, throughout the first film, back in 79, it takes like 15, 20 minutes before you even see Mel Gibson on screen. So he's always been sort of like almost like, not a secondary character, but just sort of...
more about the world that they're in,
right?
More than just the one character.
Exactly. And so, and Charlize Theron absolutely kills it, and so do the other women. It's full of a lot of strong female characters in the film. None of them are truly damsels in distress, you know? It's about them trying to save the brides and all that kind of stuff, but then as you find out along the way, the brides are pretty capable of handling themselves at times. Very impressive film. Well, that's that. We have some other stuff to talk about. Actually, a little bit more about Hollywood here, so let's go ahead and start with Page Not Found.
404 error. Page not found.
I don't know if you were excited about this, or if you are excited about this. Kate Beckinsale reportedly returning for Underworld 5.
I would be excited if I watched all of them. I think I'd seen only one Underworld film. The one where there's the dude who's like a blue werewolf. I like him the first time.
It's probably the first one then, I guess.
Because
really? he turns into a hybrid at the end. And yeah. Okay.
I think that's the only one I've seen.
That's the first one. So my experience, I'll do a quick rundown of my experience with Underworld before I start the article here. Saw the first movie, thought it was good. This is back when it came out. I was like, oh, sweet, vampires and werewolves, that movie's awesome. Saw the second movie, remember being like, okay, that's not bad. Saw the third one, loved it. The third one was a prequel. Rise of the Lycans. It took the Michael... Shoot, I can't think of his name. He was in Tron Legacy. Michael Sheen, that's who it is. It's Michael Sheen as the sort of the guy who is the head Lycan dude. And it shows him back in like medieval times and what basically started the whole war between the werewolves and the vampires. Now that movie none of the movies I don't think review all that well, and that one in particular didn't review well, but I think the third Underworld film, Rise of the Lycans, is still worth watching, is still good, is still much better than the rest of the series. So, they come out with that, I'm like, dang, that was awesome. Underworld 4 comes out. This is actually one of the last movies I ever saw in the theater. And I often will quote that I had never actually seen a bad movie until I had seen 3 films. Ghost Rider 2, Resident Evil 5, and then Underworld 4 are like the 3 worst films I've ever seen.
You haven't seen Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus.
No, okay, so to be fair,
it's terrible.
I'm sure there are much worse, but out of the things that I've dignified myself with watching, I thought Underworld 4 was complete garbage, and they got rid of all of the good characters except for Kate Beckinsale, so after I had watched these, right? So I see the fourth one, and I'm like, man, that is super crap. Well, the first ones can't be that bad. I go back and I watch the first one. I can't even get through it because I think it makes me cringe watching it. So I would say that the Underworld series is not worth watching for anybody, unless you're watching the third one, which, as my memory serves, says it was good. Now it could also be terrible. I haven't seen it in years, but so anyways, Kate Beckinsale is reportedly back for Underworld 5. Who knows who the hell was asking for that? I sure as hell wasn't. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Beckinsale, quote, has signed on to reprise her vampire character Selene in the 5th installment in the franchise from Lakeshore Entertainment and Screen Gems. Divergent's Theo James will also return as David, who was introduced in Underworld Awakening, which I believe is the last one. THR adds that Underworld 5 is said to focus on a new and younger generation of vampires and werewolves who are locked in a seemingly never-ending battle between supernatural races. Wow, that sounds like the plot of every other one that they did.
Every other sci-fi movie.
Corey Goodman penned the script, and Anna Forster, who did Outlander? If that's the Outlander I'm thinking of... Oh, no, I'm thinking Pathfinder. Never mind. Pathfinder was...
Outlander's like a TV show on Showtime right now. My mom's super into it.
I was going to say, Pathfinder was awful, but Outlander, okay, never mind then. Shooting is set to begin this October.
On the subject of Outlander, it's not really much a topic. It's just a funny story. My mom read all those books and like really wants to watch that TV show, but she didn't get that channel for like from Dish or whatever where she lives.
Right.
And pretty much ever since I started like downloading music or movies through the internet, she's like been all against it. It's like, you shouldn't do that.
Right.
But then once there's a show that she wants to watch and she can't, she's like, hey, so you can get that show for me, right? And every week she's like, did you get my show down there? Did you get my show on flash drive? Are you gonna bring my show out to me? It's like,
you should have told her.
Pick a side, mother.
You should have been like, Mom, well, you're gonna have to pay for it if you want the artist to get their dues. Just tell him you'll get him the money somehow, but charge her for it. That's great. My parents were in a similar boat. They weren't really all that thrilled with me pirating, but once my dad knew that I could get some stuff, and then I didn't do it anymore because we received a Comcast cease and desist thing back when I lived in Illinois, and so I don't do that. I don't do it anymore. I will ask other people to do it for me. I'll say like, hey, can you get me this movie? And they'll be like, sure, but I won't do it myself anymore. New Muppet series. We're going to say series because that's what the word is.
Hey, Siri.
Confirmed for ABC. I don't know if you ever saw the older Muppet Show. The Muppet Show Tonight, I think it was what it was called.
Not much. No.
I did.
I've seen the Muppets movie.
Right, okay. So I used to watch a little bit of the older show. I think it was on Fridays. Loved it. It was basically like Saturday Night Live, but with the Muppets. And I've always been a Muppets fan. I have always thought that the Muppets were funny regardless. Like, people will be like, oh, the Muppets are for kids. Nope, they're not. The Muppets are for everybody because they're absolutely hilarious.
Muppets are for everybody.
So here we go, and this is actually where this kind of goes. ABC has ordered 9 new shows for the next fall season, including a revival of The Muppets. Per The Hollywood Reporter again, the new Muppets series comes from Big Bang Theory creator Bill Prady and Bob Cushel, who did Third Rock from the Sun. It's described as a contemporary, documentary-style show that will explore the Muppets' personal lives and relationships both at home and at work, as well as romances, breakups, achievements, disappointments, wants, and desires. A more quote-unquote adult Muppet Show for kids of all ages. So, it's
more
kind
adult
of
show for kids.
Yeah. I mean, so there's a lot of people, I'll use the same argument here. For a long time, up until the later seasons of SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob often was very highly reviewed because even though it was seen as a kid's show and played on a kid's network, it had humor that oftentimes appealed to a wide variety of ages. They would make references to classical music or to old, painters and all this other stuff that some 5-year-old or some 10-year-old is not going to have a clue what that reference is. But it's funny, to maybe an older audience that's watching it with their kids. And SpongeBob eventually got unfunny completely, for me at least, but I imagine that's how this is going to go. It's going to be very probably slapstick humor, which appeals to all people in general. And chances are, if the movies have been any indication, that it will be fine for both kids and for adults. I, for one, like I said, love the Muppets. I'll watch Muppet Treasure Island any day. I still think that movie is one of the best Muppet movies of all time. Let's see here. And this talks more about other things that I don't care about, other shows. I just wanted to talk about the Muppets. So I'm excited. Muppets coming back. Unfortunately, I don't have ABC, so I will have to get that pirated for me by somebody. Moving on. We have other news. No one's sending any news this week. Send it into the show, guys. streamthemachine@gmail.com. Send us in your stuff. We want to hear about weird things. Here we go.
This just in other news.
Oh, in other news, got some goodies today. The first one here is a little reminiscent of an older one we had. Florida burglar awakened by homeowner after falling asleep on the couch. So I believe before we had a man that fell asleep in bed, passed out in bed. This one's on the couch. A Florida man is facing a felony burglary charges after police say he broke into a Sarasota home before falling asleep on the couch. Officers arrested Timothy Bontrager, age 29, Saturday morning, charging him with felony burglary. Putting those two words together is really hurting my brain. Of an occupied dwelling. That's like saying he's been charged with murder shooting. It wouldn't make sense. Anyways, of an occupied dwelling.
Murder shooting.
Police says that Bontrager entered a home through a rear sliding glass door at some point in the night. The homeowner, an unidentified woman, woke around 7 a.m. to find him sleeping on the couch. After waking Bontrager, she called the police. The burglar apologized and stumbled around the living room before exiting the house, taking with him the victim's wallet, driver's license, credit and debit cards, as well as personal checks, all of which had been left on the living room table. Excuse me. Police arrived on scene before catching up to Bontrager as he walked down the road. He is being held in Sarasota County Jail on a $25,000 bond. Last September, a similar incident occurred in Sarasota. Wow. When a woman cleaning a home found a burglar asleep on a bed. So a direct reference to our last article.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm trying to think, like, how does that happen? How do you do that? How do you?
I don't know.
Break into a house and then fall asleep. The only thing I can think is that you must be doing it absolutely hammered in the first place, especially if he's getting up and stumbling out, and apologizing. Oops, sorry, I fell asleep on your couch, man. But give me your wallet. Like, I don't know. The balls on people these days, man. It's impressive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We have this next one. So we're not going to get political on the show, but I did want to pick this one because the irony is too good. And we're not talking about sexism or anything like that today. Today we're talking about Obamacare. But this article's good. Man going blind. And then as he's I'm totally butchering this title here. An Obama critic now needs a bailout. That's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to read the title. Louis Lang is on the road to blindness, but can't afford surgery because he chose not to purchase health insurance. The now unemployed South Carolina handyman said he prided himself on paying his own medical bills, but that when he and his wife Mary were healthier and better. But that was when he and his wife Mary were healthier and better off. Lang, age 49, believed that the Affordable Care Act, which he did not agree with and decidedly ignored, would still help him in case of an emergency, that is, pay his bills. He thought wrong, however, as 2015 enrollment is now closed. And when it comes to private coverage, he now earns too little to receive a federal subsidy to afford it. As for Medicaid, South Carolina is one of the 17 states that opted out of the Affordable Care Act's Medicaid expansion, making Lang ineligible to receive those benefits. Because it's too late for Lang to take on regular avenues, he has started a GoFundMe page to raise money to cover his medical expenses. He expects to owe between $18,000 and $30,000 if he successfully receives the surgery, and writes that when he reached out to every charity organization out there, he was told he was either too young or too old. Lang and his wife apparently blame President Barack Obama and Democrats for passing a complex and flawed bill. My husband should be at home front of the line because he doesn't work and because he has medical issues. We call it the Not Fair Health Care Act. There's a bunch of... My mom says I can't curse, but I'll tell you what, these guys are just morons. Dumb. Anyways, continuing. Diabetes is the cause of Lang's health woes, as the disease causes multiple mini-strokes and partially detached retina, prompting his impending blindness. His physician, Dr. Malcolm Edwards, is treating him at no cost for now, but isn't skilled enough to perform the surgery. He said Lang will lose his eyesight if he doesn't get care. He will go blind. He's in a very bad situation, he continued, after Lang reportedly signed a privacy release. The longer he waits, the poorer his results will be. Lang is a smoker who is reported to be inconsistent in his efforts to control his diabetes. For now, he qualifies only for a limited South Carolina Medicaid plan that covers only checkups and family planning. He did not apply for Social Security disability benefits because he said it takes too long. So basically what I'm hearing is that this dude hates everything. And then, now...
He's lazy and doesn't take care of his body. If he's a smoker and he's got diabetes that he's not controlling.
And doesn't want to sign up for the Affordable Health Care Act because F Obama, I ain't supporting that stuff. Which is fine. Fine, yeah. Whatever. Don't support Obama. I don't care. Don't do your thing. If you want to stick it to the man. But then now to then blame Obama for the fact that he can't enroll... Not fair. Not fair. You don't get to do that. You don't get to call BS on that. I call BS on it, is what I'm doing. I'm calling BS on that guy. You didn't sign up, and that's your fault. You should, I mean, if you really wanted to stick it to the man and say, I'm not getting health insurance, I pride myself on paying my own medical bills, and then you're not going to take care of yourself to the point of where it is causing you detriment, that is your own fault, bro. I am sorry. But I have no sympathy for that guy. You know what? I do. I do have a small bit of sympathy for him because I have compassion for all human beings. But the majority of me says, F you, that's your own fault. Let's go to his page here. I want to see how much money so he's got a GoFundMe page. Get that. He has the gall, after all of this, to create a page where people can donate money for him to have his stuff paid for. That's... I mean, it's like what he's... I don't want to go... Like, he doesn't want to get the health insurance because he doesn't believe in people getting handouts, right? That's his whole thing. Yeah. So what does he do? He creates a freaking page where he gets handouts. Oh, my gosh. You know,
he's different.
He is different. Yeah, I guess. Because he's a white, older, upper-class male, and... forget it. $26,000 of the $30,000 have been funded. Ridiculous.
Jeez.
Okay, so 1,300 people have donated. Let's take a look here. 26.
It's like $20 each.
Divided 1, 3, 2, 9. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I guess $20 per person isn't too bad, but still. 20K? That's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely dumb.
This is crazy.
Let me see here. Let me read some of these comments. You know what? Some of these people are donating anyways and saying, you know what? You're pig-headed, you're dumb, but we're doing you a favor and you shouldn't have to go blind and giving them money anyways. So good on those people. Good on those people for at least calling the guy out, but
him out.
still being willing to donate. That takes true... That's something that Ross would be on here preaching about, so congratulations to those guys. This one's a little bit less politically charged. At least on the surface. Maryland woman allegedly spiked milk with dead foot skin.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of a glass of milk here, and it's the grossest looking. It's a regular glass of milk, but it's the grossest milk I've ever seen. Only because I'm imagining there's dead foot skin in there. A Maryland woman is facing a food contamination charge after she allegedly served milk containing dead skin shavings from her feet to a woman and a 3-year-old. Where else would you get them? Where else would you get... Oh, dead skin shavings. Never mind. I thought it said dead foot skin shavings. I was like, where else would you get those from the feet? The St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office said Sarah Schrock, 56, of Mechanicsville. Hey! Oh, Mechanicsville, Maryland. I was going to say there's a Mechanicsville, Virginia. That was right around here. Was living with Jessica Whitney Hurry and a 3-year-old girl. 3-year-old girl May 4th. On May 4th, when she served milk to the pair at dinner time. The toddler choked on her milk and coughed up what appeared to be human skin. Now, that's gross, because that means the shavings would have been big enough to get caught in your throat.
Yeah.
Hurry also gagged on her milk, and a witness poured the liquid through a strainer. A witness? Hold on.
Yeah.
So, Sarah Schrock is living with Jessica... She's living with him, so there's a fourth party here? Because you've got the 2 people eating and drinking, the one human foot shaving girl serving it, and now we've got a witness. And a witness poured the liquid through a strainer and discovered what appeared to be dead skin shavings. Hurry told police...
It's like the grossest thing. Like, we've had some gnarly stuff. This is one of the few things that is just absolutely disgusting to me.
I'm glad. I'm glad I could finally outdo...
If there's some...
I wish Ross was on the show.
On the slide. Pooping on the slide. That's fine. Dead foot skin and milk. Because milk is my favorite. And dead foot skin.
It's good for your bones. Hurry told police that Schrock has dry skin on her feet due to diabetes, and has trays in her room with the same kind of dead skin shavings that come off of her feet. A probable cause statement filed by Sheriff Corporal Jamie Davis. I don't know if that's CPL, if that's corporal or not. I don't know why you'd be corporal. What does CPL stand for? Sheriff what? Sheriff, CPL...
Is it all caps, or is it just like...
No, CPL period.
I would assume corporal.
Let's see.
Chaplain?
Yeah, some police forces. It is a corporal. Okay. Schrock was arrested on May 6th at the Charlotte Hall Motel. So was it at a... I'm not even going to question anymore. It doesn't matter where it was at. She denied putting anything in the milk. Of course she did. Schrock was charged with food contamination, second-degree assault, and violating a protective order that from April that ordered her not to have any contact with Hurry. Oh, I didn't do it. I just had a freaking protective order filed against me last month, and I have dry feet. But why would you think I was the person that put the dry foot shavings into milk? Yeah, I served it to her, but oh my gosh, whatever. Dumb. Referring to our last article, Kevin in the chat room says, I have a guy in my neighborhood who is blind and has a mini poodle as his eye dog.
A mini poodle?
A mini poodle. What is it? I'm going to Google a mini poodle. Let's figure out what a mini poodle looks like.
It's a poodle, but it's mini.
Well, I imagine, but oh my gosh, is that how big they get? They're so small. They're not too small, I guess. Well, a lot of baby poodles. All right, cool. That's kind of funny, though. Well, that's it for news. Let's go to what I think is Tony's favorite part of the show. Would you rather? Here we go.
Would you rather?
Oh, God.
Would you rather?
So I thought that was the Would You Rather segment. I think that's actually the I have dead foot shavings in my milk segment bumper that we have. That was really weird.
Would you rather have dead foot shavings in your milk? Or milk in your dead foot shavings?
I would rather have milk in my dead foot shavings. Because if I'm going to have to drink dead foot shavings or eat it, I want milk with it. But if I have to drink milk...
like a cereal.
Yeah. Alrighty, would you rather? Let's go ahead and get this ball rolling here. Let's see. Okay, hold on here. That's one. Okay, that one looked like a good one. That was for men or women. Oh my gosh, I thought I picked a good one to start with. Okay, here we go. Oh, this one is a good one. This is fun. Would you rather receive $75,000, just straight up $75,000 US dollars, or be able to speak 5 languages of your choice instantly?
Oh, I think I'd do the 5 languages of my choice instantly. Wait, is that including like 5 additional languages, or like English counts as 1 and you get 4 more languages?
I'm going to say that whatever 5 you pick is what you have. So you could even choose not to speak English and maybe forget all of it completely. So I'm going to say that English has to... So technically you get to pick 4 additional languages.
Okay, yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah, I really think that would be the... I think that would be the cool way to go, because, I mean, you can't really make money... Well, you could make money with that, but I'll tell you what. There are far more jobs available just for people that are bilingual or trilingual or multilingual.
Quintuple-lingual?
Yeah, there's a lot more opportunity, and now the trouble would be finding somebody that also spoke those languages with you, because you could be like, yeah, I want to speak Turkish. But what good's that going to do, It'd be fun. I guess it could be fun to know. Okay, so here. An extension of the question. What 4 additional languages would you learn how to speak?
What is it? Is it Mandarin? That's like the number 1? It's a dialect.
Yeah. So... Yeah, I guess you could just... I was going to say maybe just pick Chinese in general, but I think there's so many dialects that, yeah, Mandarin would be its own thing. Well, I know for sure it's its own thing, but probably for fairness' sake. Because if you just pick Chinese, then you technically get to learn, like, probably 10 different languages.
Yeah, it's Mandarin, I think. Mandarin is the top, most commonly spoken language. But I think I'll do... Obviously English, because I'd like to talk to my family. Mandarin.
Overrated.
Probably Spanish. I think Arabic would be cool. And then... Dothraki.
That's not too far off from... Kevin in the chat room, he wants to learn Klingon. Klingon is his choice for stuff, which would be useful at Star Trek conventions, because there are people who know it. And Elvish. Elvish would be a good one, too.
That would be... Okay.
Elvish, actually...
No, I'm going to stick with... What is Hertes?
With the Hutts from Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know. That's my Jabba the Hutt impression. I don't know the language or anything like that, but I know. I think at one point he says "Chuta." That's about it. 4 additional languages. I would do Japanese absolutely for sure. English. Japanese, English. I guess maybe Spanish for practical uses, and then honestly, the last one I would have a hard time choosing, but it would probably be something European. I would say maybe French. I would maybe learn French. Yeah, I'm not too hot on learning Spanish. Like, I don't really care, but I feel like if I'm going like for practicality, for me.
Exactly.
Japanese,
and plus,
Spanish,
like,
and English would be the...
Italian and Spanish and Portuguese all kind of, like, have similar structures.
Right.
So if you learn one of them really well, learning the other one won't be that bad. But I think for the 5th one, if I had to actually pick a practical one, I'd probably do Russian or something.
See, Russian would be neat, too. Swedish wouldn't be bad. I'd like to learn Swedish. All right, let's take a look at the votes here. Speak 5 languages... Oh, it's a little more split than I thought. 65,000 people voted. 45% said that they would rather have $75,000. 55% said that they would rather speak 5 different languages. I think... Well, and so here's the thing. Is there's nothing wrong with the choices that you can pick there. Because some people probably are like, why do I don't care about other languages. So sure, why wouldn't you take the 75,000? I think it's just a matter of how interested you are sort of in the novelty of being able to speak a different language. Obviously, $75K is a lot of money, so if you don't really care, it's a lot of money to me because that's like a couple of years.
That's like a house.
Yeah,
in a decent area.
Or the world's greatest computer that can run every video game ever.
No kidding. All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
For $1 million, would you rather scream penis at 100 different airports or bomb at one airport? Travel expenses to get to these airports is out of your own pocket.
Oh.
And it's like through security as you're boarding the plane.
Is it after? Oh boy.
And once you and then you get it. I mean, sure, you can probably take a loan out of that $1 million if you don't have the money to buy 100 different plane tickets.
Oh shoot!
But
I don't know, man. Calling bomb in anywhere is kind of a major offense.
I know.
I would be super. Well, so here's the thing. Well, you know what? Even though I wouldn't be able to afford it right away, or maybe I'd have to work at it over time, I'm going to say I'd have to say penis 100 times because... only because I don't feel like yelling bomb.
I just love that out of context. I feel like I have to say penis.
I'm going to have to try and cap that from the show. How far are we in? We're about an hour in. Hour and 8 minutes, it says here. Yeah, I would have to go with penis. Penis is my choice. Because I feel like yelling bomb is just far worse. Especially for just like civilians in general. Like, not only would the outcome be much worse, because feigning a terrorist threat is incredibly bad, but I just wouldn't want to do that to people. Like, yelling bomb is like that might have been a joke that was okay long before 9/11, but anymore I feel like that just the trauma that you'd put people through. I would have to go with 100 penises. Yeah, I would go with 100 penises. What is your choice? Would you take the bullet? Would you spend your time in Guantanamo Bay for $1 million?
I think I would do yelling penis 100 times, because not only, granted, that's super embarrassing, and you're yelling penis,
right?
And then you have to sit on a plane with these people who just heard you yell penis. But it's also, you get to go on 100 flights to different parts of the world. So you kind of killing two birds with one stone, or you get to travel the world.
Yeah, but you're spending so much money. So let's say, I mean, you're using...
But I mean, even if it's $1,000 that you're spending on these plane tickets, so like in the end, it's $100,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, that's like your last minute, like, max price.
Right. That's a good point. You still get about $900K.
And then you still get $900,000, which would still buy a sweet computer.
It still would. Yeah.
Not as much as $1 million. Wouldn't be that sweet, but it'd be 90% as sweet.
I could deal with that. All right, let's see. Let me pick one last good one here. No.
Well, while you look, would you rather fight a cheetah with your bare hands or a tiger with a baseball bat?
Are we assuming that the cheetah is easier to beat? It has less stamina?
I mean, they're more lean, so they're not as, like, crazy, like, can just, like... They're not as strong. At least that's what from my little knowledge I know of large cats.
From what I've created in my head here,
from what I'm
tigers
envisioning.
have more HP than a cheetah does. I would go with the cheetah and the bat because I would still get shredded.
It's cheetah.
Oh,
cheetah
sorry.
With your hands,
the tiger and the bat.
with
I would
bat.
go with the tiger and the bat. I would because
I don't think I could hit a tiger with a bat at all, so I'd take on the cheetah.
I don't think I could take on a cheetah.
Tigers.
Well, I just don't think I could take on a cheetah with my bare hands. Is the problem? So it's either
I feel
get
like
mauled without a weapon,
close to me.
or get mauled with a weapon.
If the cheetah's like being smart and like just building up speed and just like kind of attack me as he runs by, then I'm probably screwed. But if I can get him close, I think I can take on a cheetah.
Really? Falcon punch just right in the face?
Just gotta choke him. Choke it out. Choke it out.
Okay, gosh. I'm trying. There's so many. All right, here we go. We're going to do it. Oh, no, I feel like we've done that one before. All right, so here we go. Last one. Would you rather live with no arms or no legs?
Jeez. Are we talking like at the shoulder and at the hip?
Yeah, so for arms, boom, right here, gone. For legs...
So no nubs. No nubs or nothing?
No, I would say for legs, you kind of get the nubs. So maybe up to like a knee or something like that.
Then I would... Can I get prosthetics?
I'm going to say in both scenarios.
Still, anyway, I'd probably lose my legs.
Yeah, I think I would go the same as well. I mean, I'm already not driving myself to work.
There's no functionality if you don't have arms. You're just like...
Yeah. Now that I think about that, like, there really is.
Trying to talk, trying to text on it, trying to pull up Skype, using my nose on the trackpad.
Oh my gosh, that would be awful. Yeah, I would probably do the same. No legs. Let's see what the votes are here. Yeah, no surprise.
Ain't got no legs.
61,000 people voted. 19% said that they would rather have no arms. And not only, but the majority, 81% said that they would rather have no legs because it's still drink dead foot shaving milk if you have arms. I swear that's the reason. Alrighty, well, that's about it. Let's go ahead and let's wind this thing down. Let's go ahead and kill the jazz. Kill the jazz! Oh, it stopped. Got a guy in the background that just he pulls a plug every time I tell him to kill the jazz. He just boop and pops the plug.
Just
alrighty.
You have to get a new jazz player every week because he keeps killing. He takes everything too literally.
He really does. Ways you can help out the show. If you see us posting about it, you see we're getting ready for the show every Saturday morning, and you see our posts coming up on Facebook or on Twitter. Go ahead and share the post. Put a little blurb. Say, hey, come check out, whatever relation you are to me, if it's family or friend or whatever, and help us get the show out there. If you want to sponsor a segment, you can find out more about that on our website. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/streamthemachine. And there, you don't even have to donate any kind of money. You can just go ahead and become a supporter and say that you want to help us out. And just by being there sort of shows people that there are people who actually listen to the show. Email in your music. There is a gentleman who emailed in his music, but we missed a show last week, and this week we didn't do a full show. So I told him that I was going to wait because I think he sent me multiple songs. I wanted to play his stuff on a show where I could play 2 songs of his. So we actually have music coming down the pipes. I can't remember his name at the moment, so I apologize. He's probably not even listening to the podcast. I'm pretty sure he emailed us because I think my mom's been managing Stream the Machine Instagram, and he, I think, saw us on there and was just like, hey, cool, and emailed the show. So thank you to my mother for that. We'll get that guy showing that music on the show here soon, probably next week. You can follow me on Twitter at RedefineJack. You can follow Tony at TonyDePalma51. You can follow the show at STM Podcast. There you can find out when everything goes live, including the video show on YouTube when that goes up. If you want to find out more about the show or listen to past episodes, you can go to streamthemachine.com. I spent a lot of time the last time that I uploaded a show restructuring the archive page. So now it has everything set up so that when you click on Season 1, it will take you to all the Season 1 links. When you click on Season 2, it will take you to the Season 2 links. And that when you go there, it should just have everything that's recent showing up. So you should be able to catch up on the show fairly easily. I want to thank everyone for their help today. Tony, as always, for being an awesome co-host, listening to me ramble about crap and being my sounding board for all this stuff. No thanks to Ross. I have in the notes here to thank him, but That guy, he's not here, so nobody thank him. In fact, if you're friends with Ross on Facebook, leave him nasty messages on his wall.
Go poke him on Facebook. Poke him.
Next Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 Central, is episode 54. We will be back, I believe, with Ross. Chat room is noticeably silent today, aside from Kevin. So everyone, if you're listening into the show, I know not everyone can make it live. That's fine. And sometimes Twitch doesn't always work for people. But really, try to tune in live. Try to get in on the chat room, say funny things, because it makes us laugh during the middle of the show, and we like calling the stuff out. So that's it. We have, so here, occasionally on the show, I break the law. Very rarely, but occasionally I do it. I've done it for music. I play music that is technically copyrighted and I have no right to be playing, but I play it anyways because I think the music is so good that I really want to get it out there. And that I hope, and in any case, that if it ever were to come under some kind of weird, like, you shouldn't be playing that they'll at least take into consideration, like, dude, I am just really trying to get your stuff out there. There is a new band that is Norwegian, experimental, like indie pop is what they call it, and electronic pop, I think. They're called the Fjords. They have a brand new song out called All In. Tony, I don't care what you're doing after the show, you need to watch the video for this. I'm going to play the song right now. It's called All In. It is from their EP. On the website, I will have a link to their iTunes. I will have a link to their Amazon. The iTunes has the EP where you can find other songs from there. Amazon only has the one song. They're also on Spotify, but they also only have the one song, which I'm about to play. The music video for this song is incredible. I know if you want to watch the music video first, then I recommend everyone tune out as I play this now and then go watch the music video instead. Otherwise, this is the Fjords with All In. They're brand new. When we come back next week, we'll have more Ross, more me, more Tony, more everything. More Kevin in the chat room, hopefully, too.
And I will be in a new house.
Really? What? So
yeah.
Tell me about this. You didn't say anything about this. Are you and the boys doing something different?
My lease is up May 31st.
Okay.
So, and I'm in the process of moving in with one of my guitarists.
Nice.
Just for a few months until the guy I'm living with, Casey, he's back for the summer, back up Rockford where he lives, working. So I was just going to move home, but I was like, well, I can move in with this guy, kind of help him out a little bit.
Right.
Because he was looking to rent out a room. And I was like, sure. So yeah, I'm in the...
Well, awesome.
We'll see if I'm actually over there by that time.
That's exciting. Yeah, let me know if you have any issues, and for whatever reason,
if I need help moving, can you help me?
I'll do what I can. You know what I was thinking is, I'm not actually sure where Rachel's at. I feel like she is. Well, she's at least at her home right now, but I think one of the weddings. I don't know if it was the one yesterday or the one next weekend, because she's down there for 2 weddings. Was supposed to be in Peoria, and I was like, dang it, I really should have tried to get her to stop by and come on the show. Yeah, so anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week. This is the Fjords with All In. Please go check out the music video. It's awesome stuff. Go like them on Facebook. Go do everything else, because it's really great music. I'm breaking the law for them. Not for them, but
nice.
Because I want people to go check out their music, because it's great. We'll be back next week. Keep this in mind.
A human doesn't really look like a turkey in the woods.
That guy sounds so much like my landlord.
We'll be back next week, guys. Have a good weekend.
All right.
The first time was the charm when you came calling, and I'm all in. The first time was the charm when you came calling, and I'm all in, and I'm all in. Skin is burning on my
bought you some chips.
Well, that was nice of Ross. He doesn't even show up, but he got us some chips.
Thanks, Ross. They better be kitchen cooked.
I don't. Oh, wait.
Put like some of your ham in
here.
here.
Oh, that's not the Ross ham. I was hoping that was Ross ham, but it's not. Oh, well.